Alright, so here in my leaf drop earring kit, you have directions and you have all the accoutrement, which is a couple of leaves and crystals and pearls, ear wires, little bits of chain, and sterling wire. The tools are your own tools. Round nose, flush cutter, chain nose. They don't have to be zigzag style, they can be whatever works for you. I like to get everything out of the bags. That with your chain nose pliers, you pivot up and attach the chain. One link. And then you pivot it closed. And pivot it closed. Gives you a little bit more things to hold on to as we start to attach all of these things to here. And to do that, get everything out of the bag. Everybody come out and play. These are 8 pieces. So I'm going to cut 8 little pieces of wire, about 1 inch each piece. Essentially, I'm making head pins. And the last 2 pieces are for attaching to these leaves. So I'll just cut the remaining in half. Or close enough. Close enough in half. Set those aside. And then I'm going to, little by little, bend over the little tiny end Okay, so it's really tiny. It's just a little tiny bend over and crimp. So that's the stopper. Sometimes it wants to pivot sideways and misbehave. This too shall pass. But it's an opportunity to show you that it happens to me as well. Not the best idea to put lotion on your hands before you start. So I'm going to pick up each one and get it in place. If for some reason the bead hole is bigger than the fold over part, just fold it over again and make it work. Then with my round nose pliers, let's move all these off to the side so we can see. So with my round nose pliers, I'm just going to curl it down until it touches the bead and bring that around like so. There's a little picture on the directions, close-up picture, in the kit. So the Swarovski crystals sometimes have a little bit bigger of a hole. Curl, bring it around, set it down. Even with my sausage fingers, I could do all this delicate work. Would you do it so fast? So here we have all of our little guys. Okay. This one's a little trickier. So we start in the back of the pliers to make a pretty good size loop. Because you want the leaf to hang freely. Like so. There we go. Oops. Feed it on the side that doesn't have the crimp in it. Kind of looks like that. Holding on to both of them. Hold on to both of them. Bend the long wire towards you. So it's at an angle. And then up, over, and around. So we made a little loop, like so. See that little loop? Get my sausage finger out of the way. So it looks like it's just kind of floating there out by itself. But what's going to happen is when we put this loop onto the chain over here, this whole tail is going to wrap around both pieces. So we feed this onto the bottom. So it's locked around the little loop. And then we ever so carefully hold across the loop and the extra piece and hold it in the tool. And then with another tool I'm going to take this piece and wrap it around both pieces of wire. Give it about 3 wraps. Like so, and snip off the tails. That's why you need a flush cutter, because you need to come in like a helicopter, not like an airplane. Because if you aim at it like this, you're probably going to cut your other wire. So you come in like you're just landing and snip it. And then this other piece, after you've unwound it from the chain, kind of bend it over so it's easier to see. And then come in with the back part of the cutter, because the back part is the flush part, and give it a little snip. And if there's any little bit of tail, then you come in with your chain, the tip of your chain nose pliers, and just lightly give it a little squish so you don't feel any, I kind of feel with my fingers of just snagging me or whatever. So that's the first piece. And you repeat that on the other earring, and then we can add all the other little doodads. So lay them out so you have the right amount for each one. So there'll be little of this, little of that, equal parts for each earring. And you link these into the chain the same way you linked the other. Link it in. There we go, right there. And I hold across the loop with the tip of the pliers, not the back part. The back of the jaw is back here. You have just, and you're not using brute force, otherwise this wire is so fine, this is a 24 gauge wire, you'll just cut right through by holding it too hard. And you give this a couple of wraps. Trim it off and go on to the next one. I have to pull it in closer so I can see. There we go. The placement is really up to you. I prefer to have them kind of clustered at the bottom. But if you want to even add more than what's in the kit, you can certainly do that and go all the way up the chain and make a beautiful little cluster. That's the beauty of this particular style. So I'll go ahead and do all of those.